Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into financial freedom.
Ooh.
Interesting, but through a specific lens.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at the advice of Tanim Zaman, who's a Muslim entrepreneur, and he did a YouTube video called Brutally Honest Advice to Muslims Seeking Financial Freedom.
Okay, so a Muslim perspective on financial freedom.
Exactly.
I like it.
Now, obviously, lots of people dream of financial freedom.
Yeah.
But what does that really mean? Like, what does it actually take to get there?
Yeah.
And Zaman actually achieved financial freedom in 10 years.
Wow.
So we're going to kind of try to unpack, how he did that and what are some of the maybe surprising pieces of advice that he gives.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this because, you don't often see financial advice kind of woven in with spiritual advice.
Right.
So that'll be a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, and it's really, it's insightful. And just a quick note before we jump in, the content is based on his personal views and experiences as a Muslim.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily reflect, universal Islamic principles or anything.
Right, got it. So this is his take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His personal take. So let's start by kind of unpacking Zaman's definition of what financial freedom is.
Okay, yeah.
And he describes it as having enough passive income
Okay.
to cover your desired lifestyle expenses.
Right.
So basically, you don't have to work.
Right.
You have enough money coming in that you can cover your expenses.
That's the dream.
But that, it makes me think, is not working really freedom?
That's a great question.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is that really all it is?
Yeah, because I think most people think, okay, financial freedom means I don't have to work.
Right.
But it's like, is there more to freedom than that?
Right.
What about things like purpose, growth,
Exactly.
giving back to the community? And then there's also, like even the potential downsides to wealth.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
if you don't have the right mindset, it could lead to some, maybe not so great outcomes.
Right. Right. So it's not like a guaranteed happy ending.
Exactly.
Just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, so we know there's kind of, there's more to it than just not having a job.
Right.
But Zaman actually outlines two main paths
Okay.
to achieve this kind of financial freedom.
Right.
So the first one he calls the business exit.
Okay.
And this is where you build a successful business and then you sell it.
Okay, so like a big payout.
Exactly, a big payout. And he estimates that you would need to sell it for about 2 million pounds
Wow. Yeah.
to generate like a passive income of 10,000 pounds per month.
Right.
And he's assuming here that you would invest this money in, assets like property.
Okay.
And you would get about a 6% yield.
Right.
Now, for people that may not be familiar with that term yield,
Yeah.
basically what that means is for every, 100 pounds that you invest, you would get 6 pounds back per year.
Okay, got it. So that's the return you get on your investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you had 2 million pounds, and you're getting 6%, you'd be making 10,000 pounds a month.
Right.
So, just that right there shows you need a significant amount of capital.
Yeah, for sure. That's not an easy feat.
No. And, I think it also highlights how difficult it is to build a business to that point where you could even sell it for millions.
Right. Like not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And even then, it takes a lot of, resources and luck sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the business exit. And then he has another path, which he calls the self-running business.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So this is all about, creating a business that can operate and generate income without you having to be involved.
So it runs itself, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. And this is actually the path that Zaman took.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it took him about 10 years to get there.
Okay.
But it sounds amazing, right?
Or yeah, like a money tree in your backyard.
Exactly.
It's printing money.
But I imagine it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah. 10 years, that's a significant amount of time. What did he have to do during those 10 years?
Right. So it's not like you just snap your fingers and suddenly you have a self-running business.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not magic.
It takes time,
Yeah.
effort.
And probably a lot of planning.
A lot of planning. And, the interesting thing is both of these paths, although they sound different, kind of have this common thread, which is you have to build a successful business.
Right.
And that in itself is like a huge hurdle.
Yeah, it's like the first boss you have to beat in the video game.
Exactly.
Huh.
And Zaman actually cited a statistic, only 4% of businesses in America ever make over 7 figures in revenue.
Wow.
So that's pretty sobering when you think about it.
Yeah, it really kind of puts it in perspective how difficult it is to,
Yeah.
really achieve that level of success.
Right.
And also, it suggests that people who do reach financial freedom through business,
Hmm.
it probably takes a very unique set of skills, determination, and also maybe even a little bit of luck.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But, Zaman doesn't just focus on like the practicalities. He also talks about the why,
Okay.
you know?
Like, why are you seeking financial freedom?
Exactly. Like, why do you even want this?
Yeah.
And he points out that a lot of Muslims, they want financial freedom for noble reasons.
Okay.
Like they want to have more time for worship, maybe give more to charity, or, pursue Islamic
Like,
studies.
like really good reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he throws out this really powerful challenge. He's like, are you already doing those things now,
Oh, that's good.
even without financial freedom?
So it's like, don't wait.
Exactly. Don't wait. If you're not doing those things now, then maybe you need to think about your motivations a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's like,
Wow.
are you actually using financial freedom as an excuse,
Yeah,
to not do the things that you really want to do?
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. And he actually goes even further than that.
Okay.
He suggests that those people who are already, finding ways to prioritize their passions and their faith, even with, busy lives and financial constraints, they're actually the ones that truly deserve financial freedom.
I love that. It's like, you have to prove it first,
Yeah.
that you're serious about it.
Exactly. And then when they achieve it, they'll know how to use it wisely and really make a difference.
Right, because they've already been living that way.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's not going to be like a shock to their system.
Yeah, and it won't go to their head,
Right.
Yeah. Because they're already, kind of grounded in those values.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't sugarcoat it.
Okay.
I mean, he's very upfront about the challenges involved.
Yeah.
He's like, you need immense patience,
Okay.
resilience,
Yeah.
and the ability to handle uncertainty and risk,
Right. Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.
And he even says this path, it's not for everyone.
Wow. So what does he say about, like, the mindset it takes to succeed on this path?
Well, he doesn't go into like specific details about that.
Okay.
But I think what he's trying to say is, it requires a certain way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's not for those people who are looking for like instant gratification
Right.
or are afraid of taking risks.
Yeah.
And, it's about being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Okay.
Yeah.
like being okay with delaying gratification and knowing that there are going to be setbacks along the way.
Right. Because, like we were saying before, most businesses don't even make it to that 7-figure mark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that strong why, right? If your desire for financial freedom is, just about wanting a fancy car or,
Like a materialistic.
yeah, materialistic stuff.
Yeah.
Is that really going to be enough to keep you going through all the tough times?
Probably not. And that's where, I think Zaman's emphasis on aligning those goals with your values is so important.
Right, right. He uses the example of, Muslims wanting financial freedom so they can dedicate more time to worship or to charity.
Right.
But then he poses that question, are you already doing those things now?
Exactly. So if you're not,
Yeah.
maybe you need to rethink, why you're actually pursuing this.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've unpacked that, let's move on to Zaman's next point. He reminds us that for Muslims, the primary purpose in life is to please Allah.
Okay.
And that doesn't actually require wealth at all.
Right. That's a really important point.
Yeah.
Especially, in today's world where we often equate financial success with, happiness and fulfillment.
Right, exactly. He's basically saying that you can live a fulfilling life,
Yeah.
whether you're rich or poor.
Yeah, as long as you're aligned with your values.
Exactly. And he doesn't stop there.
Okay. So what else does he say?
Let's talk about that after a quick break. All right, so we're back. And let's get into some of the specifics of Zaman's advice.
Yeah.
Like the practical stuff. What can we actually do?
Yeah, the actionable steps.
Exactly, exactly. He gives this really compelling example when he talks about, that business exit path
Right.
and the kind of scale you'd need to make it work.
Yeah, you're talking about the £2 million example.
Yeah.
To get that £10,000 a month.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
With the 6% yield on property and stuff.
Yeah, it really highlights how much money you need up front.
Right, right. It's not, it's not chump change.
No, not at all.
But it also made me think about like how important it is to understand those, investment fundamentals.
Yeah, like yield, diversification.
Exactly. It's not just about getting the big payout from selling the business.
Right.
It's also knowing what to do with that money.
Right. How to make it work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when he talks about that 6% yield, he's assuming you'd invest in things like, buy-to-let
Yeah.
properties.
Rental income.
Yeah. Or maybe, REITs.
Right. Real estate investment trusts.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are companies that own and operate income-producing real estate.
Exactly. So you're kind of indirectly investing in property.
Right.
Right.
And of course, these are just examples. There's other options out there.
For sure.
But the key takeaway is you got to be smart with that money.
Right. You need a plan.
Yeah, to generate that consistent, passive income.
Exactly. Financial literacy is super important alongside, entrepreneurial skills.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what about that self-running business?
Oh, yeah. The magical money tree.
It does sound kind of, too good to be true.
Right. Like a fantasy.
But we got to remember he achieved this after 10 years of work.
Right. Right. It wasn't overnight.
It wasn't like magic or anything.
Yeah. There's no genie involved.
Exactly. It was about, putting in the time and effort.
Yeah. And building something that could eventually run without him.
Right, right. So it's not about generating passive income from like day one,
Yeah.
but creating a business model that can become passive.
Right. So it's like a long-term strategy.
Exactly, exactly. Can you give us an example? Like, what would that look like in practice?
Sure. So let's say you have an online business
Okay.
selling digital products like online courses or ebooks.
Okay.
You could set up systems, for marketing, sales, delivery.
Okay.
So people can buy and access your products without you having to be there for every transaction.
Right, right.
And you can also build a team,
Okay.
virtual assistants, freelancers
Ah,
to handle things like customer service.
right. So it's about building that system.
Yeah. Exactly. A system that can work without you constantly needing to intervene.
Right, right. But even with that, he doesn't, shy away from the challenges.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Building a business is tough.
It is. It is. He talks about, needing patience, resilience, being comfortable with uncertainty.
Right. It's not a smooth ride.
And he uses this phrase that really stuck with me.
Okay.
He says, financial freedom is not for everyone.
Interesting. What do you think he means by that?
Well, I think he's saying, it takes a certain mindset.
Right.
It's not for people who, want everything right away.
The instant gratification crowd.
Exactly. Or who are, afraid to take risks.
Right.
It's about embracing that discomfort.
Yeah. Stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, delaying gratification, knowing there will be setbacks.
And it's also about having a clear vision, right?
Yes, yes. Knowing what you want and having the determination to get there.
Even when it gets tough.
Exactly, exactly. And, I think it takes a healthy dose of realism, too.
Yeah, like knowing it won't be easy.
Yeah.
But still believing in your vision.
Right, right. And it goes back to that strong why.
Exactly.
If your reason for wanting financial freedom is just about, material things.
Yeah, the fancy cars, the big house.
Yeah, is that really going to be enough to sustain you?
Yeah, through all the ups and downs.
Through all the, the tough times, the challenges.
There's got to be something deeper.
Exactly. And that's where Zaman's emphasis on aligning your goals with your values comes in.
Right. That's so important.
He gives that example of, Muslims wanting financial freedom for worship, charity, Islamic studies.
Yeah.
But are you doing those things now?
Exactly.
If not, then maybe, you need to think about your motivations.
Yeah, like, are you actually serious about this?
Right, right. Don't wait for financial freedom to start living a life that's, in line with your values.
Yeah, start living it now.
Exactly. And, some people might say, well, I'm struggling financially. I don't have the resources or the time to give back or pursue my religious obligations.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
What would Zaman say to that?
Well, I think he would say that even small acts of kindness, generosity, devotion, they all have an impact.
Right. It's not about the amount.
Exactly. It's about the intention.
Yeah, the sincerity behind it.
Even if you can only spare a little bit for charity.
Yeah.
or a few minutes each day for prayer or reflection.
It all adds up.
It does, it does. He highlights those individuals who are already, deeply engaged in their passions.
Yeah, making the time despite their busy lives.
Exactly. And he says they're the ones who truly deserve financial freedom.
Because they'll know how to use it wisely.
Exactly. It goes back to that idea of financial freedom being a multiplier.
Right, not a prerequisite.
Yeah. You're not waiting for wealth to start living a meaningful life.
You're already living it.
You are. You are.
Yeah.
And financial freedom just gives you more resources.
Exactly. To amplify your impact.
To amplify it, yeah.
Yeah.
And, he reminds us as Muslims, your primary purpose is to please Allah.
Right.
And that doesn't depend on wealth at all.
You can achieve that in any circumstance.
Exactly. And he argues that financial freedom can be a powerful tool, if you're already dedicated to a meaningful mission.
Right, one that aligns with your values.
Yeah, it's not just about individual gain.
It's about using your resources to make a positive difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the world, in your community, for your faith.
Absolutely. But even with the best intentions, pursuing financial freedom, it can be a challenge.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
Especially, when you're trying to balance it with your religious obligations, family life.
Right. It's about finding that balance.
And that's where having clarity about your goals is so important.
Yeah, knowing what you want to achieve.
Zaman encourages you to, really envision what you want to do with financial freedom.
Right. Like, what will you do differently?
Yeah.
How will you use your time?
Yeah. How will you ensure that your pursuit of it stays in harmony with your faith and values?
Right, because it's easy to get sidetracked.
It is. It is. It's like creating a roadmap.
Yeah, but one that takes into account your spiritual goals as well.
Exactly. Exactly. He challenges you to ask yourself, if you achieved financial freedom tomorrow,
Yeah,
what would be the first thing you would change?
that's a good question.
It is, right? It makes you think about your priorities.
Yeah, and if you're truly aligned with your values.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because, as Zaman says, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And the journey itself should reflect your values and aspirations.
It should. It should. And remember, in Islam, your actions are judged by your intentions.
That's right.
So if your intention is to, enhance your worship, give more to charity,
Yeah.
support your family, your community.
Then that wealth becomes a blessing.
Exactly. But if it's purely selfish,
It can become a burden.
it can be a burden, yeah. Or even a test.
Right, so approach it with the right mindset.
With the right mindset, absolutely. So I think we've covered a lot, the two paths, the challenges, the importance of aligning your goals with your values.
Yeah, we've gone deep.
We have. But there's one more crucial element, the spiritual side.
The spiritual side, okay.
And that's where we'll pick up in our final segment.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. We're in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
And we're really going to focus on the connection between your financial goals and your spiritual values.
Yeah, the spiritual side of things.
Exactly. This is where Zaman's perspective gets really interesting. He kind of brings those Islamic principles together with practical advice about building wealth.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach.
It is. It is. And he really emphasizes that financial freedom isn't like the end goal.
Okay.
It's a means to an end.
Right.
It's a way to achieve something bigger, something more meaningful.
Yeah, like a tool.
Exactly. Exactly. He reminds us, for Muslims, the main goal is to please Allah.
Right.
And that doesn't require wealth.
True. You can do that in any situation.
You can. But he also suggests that wealth, if you don't have the right mindset, can actually get in the way of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it can be an obstacle.
It can. I mean, think about it. Sometimes, we get so caught up in chasing money
Right.
that we forget about what really matters.
Yeah, we lose sight of our values.
Exactly. And Zaman says if you're only focused on personal gain or, worldly possessions, then there's a risk of getting too attached to those things
Right.
and losing sight of your true purpose.
It's like that saying, money is a good servant, but a bad master.
Yeah. It's a tool,
Right.
It can be used for good or bad.
Depending on your intentions.
Exactly. And Zaman really stresses that wealth should be used for a higher purpose.
Right.
Not just for, your own selfish desires.
So it's about aligning it with your values.
Aligning it, yeah. And he brings in this concept of intention,
Okay.
which is really important in Islam.
Right.
He reminds us your actions are judged by your intentions.
Yeah.
So if your intention is to, enhance your worship,
Okay.
give more charity, support your family, your community,
Yeah.
then that wealth becomes a blessing.
It's a means to do good.
It is, it is. But if it's just about, yourself,
Yeah, purely selfish.
then it can become a burden
Okay.
or even a test.
It can lead you astray.
It can, it can.
Yeah.
So you got to approach it with the right mindset.
Right mindset, yeah. And it all comes back to that question he asked, right?
Yeah, what would you change if you had financial freedom tomorrow?
Exactly. How would you use it?
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It helps you figure out, if your goals are in the right place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Zaman points out that, financial freedom can actually amplify your good deeds.
Okay, how so?
Well, it gives you more time,
Right.
resources,
Yeah.
flexibility.
To dedicate to those causes you care about.
Exactly. Imagine if you had the means to, really support those causes.
Right. You could make a real difference.
You could. You could. He talks about people who are already doing great things, serving others, spreading knowledge,
Yeah.
even without a lot of money.
Right. They're already making an impact.
They are. They are. And he sees financial freedom as a way to multiply that.
So it's not just about the individual.
It's not. It's not. It's about the impact you can have on the world.
Yeah. That's a powerful way to think about it.
It is. It is. So I think, the biggest takeaway for me is that financial freedom is a journey,
Okay.
not a destination.
Right.
And that journey should, reflect your values,
Yeah.
your
Your
aspirations.
commitment to living a purposeful life.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right.
Exactly. So if financial freedom came knocking on your door tomorrow,
Yeah.
what would you do with it?
That's the question.
How would you use it to, live a more meaningful life?
Right. Think about that and let it guide your actions today.
Absolutely. Make sure your pursuit of wealth is aligned with your values.
Yeah. Don't lose sight of what's important.
Those are some great words to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into financial freedom from a Muslim perspective.
Yeah, it was a great discussion.
We hope you learned something valuable.
Absolutely.
Remember, financial freedom is achievable,
Yes,
but the journey is just as important as the destination.
it is. Make sure it's guided by your values and your faith.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for a life of purpose and meaning.